This woman named Joanne Oliver returns nearly $600 she accidentally found under her KFC sandwich despite being in $2 million in medical debt, which is crazy, right? Imagine if you're $2 million in medical debt. That is so disturbing. Like that amount of medical bills, it's just crazy. But what's even crazier is that even while being crushed by these medical bills, she had the moral character to be like, no, I need to return this money. Like, that's crazy. So, a Georgia woman is being commended by authorities after returning the more than $543 in cash she found under her sandwich. In a Facebook post, the City of Jackson Police Department thanked Joanne Oliver for honesty and goodness. On Wednesday, September 14th, 2022, Jackson police were called to Miss Oliver's workplace. Miss Oliver had gone to a local restaurant drive-thru on her lunch break and returned to work to enjoy her lunch. When she opened her lunch and removed her sandwich, she was surprised to find $543.10 in cash under her sandwich, the department said. After in, After investigating the find, it was determined that the restaurant's daily deposit had accidentally been placed in her sandwich bag. Not only did Miss Oliver do the right thing, but she saved the manager's job. It continued. Miss Oliver, thank you for reminding us that we have amazing citizens in Jackson, and it's people like you that make us great. According to WSB TV, the grandmother had visited the fast food giant's 3rd Street location. Now, also, like, it kind of sucks that the person would have been fired for mishandling the $543 or whatever. Is understandable because that is a pretty big mistake, but still kind of sucks. So the cash was enough to pay off her electricity bills, and her husband had suffered strokes and is battling cancer. Oliver told the station the family is facing medical bills totaling around $2 million. She admitted that she thought about going shopping for a second. If you don't do the right thing, it's going to come back on you, Oliver said. I mean, it wasn't mine. I didn't need to keep it. I'll get mine in the future. And KFC reportedly refunded the money Oliver paid for her lunch and gave her a free meal. I guess that's nice ish of them. Because the thing is, I mean, they would have never even had the money in the first place if she didn't return the money. Because she would have just taken it. So they would have been at a loss of nearly $600. But let's see some of the comments. And by the way, if you were to find like nearly $600, how would you act? Like, would you return the money? I think that'd be a pretty interesting thing to find out. Let's see. Decency is wonderful. I wish her the very best. Pretty nice. The main point of this article, or at least it should be, is not how a person returned a few $100. I mean, I think that's a pretty big factor. It should be how, in day and age, someone can rack up millions with an S of dollars of medical bills. That's the thing, right? I think being in like millions of dollars in medical bills is so disgustingly disturbing because the majority of the human population has no chance of paying that money back. Like, that's the reality, right? So, for someone to be in that situation where they're being crushed by that is horrendous. Let's see. Meanwhile, in the mansions of the rich, they are laughing at her. Look at Tom Brady. Describe a net worth of 200 to 300 million, not to mention a 375 million deal with Fox as an announcer once he retires. Which, by the way, I think I made a video about this before, about his contract. It is so stupid, the amount of money that he's going to be making. And you got to keep in mind, too, like, a lot of these, like, announcer contracts are more than the majority of the players are getting paid, right? So he still took 967,000 or so in PPP for his small business, and a few months later, he bought a $1 million yacht. You don't become super rich by being benevolent; it's by grabbing every penny, right or wrong. Now, I don't know about becoming super rich, but becoming financially independent, becoming financially free, you can be benevolent, you can have money in the bank, and you can have money in investments to where you're not necessarily worrying about things. But the main thing is to basically be like debt free. If the majority of people end up becoming debt free, their quality of life would be so much better. Which, by the way, if you want to learn how to get out of debt, go down below. Let's see. The medical creditors are going to get stiffed. No points for that. The $500 isn't going to help these deadbeats, so bravo for the return. Well, that's a little bit insulting. So the medical creditors deserve to be stiffed. Charging $75 for an aspirin isn't exactly good medicine. I wouldn't pay the bill either, and I am not a deadbeat. Seems that I just don't like being told to bend over and take it. She returned the sandwich because she didn't ask for cheddar. I'm still a little worried about the manager's job, which the manager should be worried about their job because that's a pretty bad situation, an unlucky situation. But it's like that's a good chunk of money to be mishandling, you know? So there had to be an incredible chain of events for this money to go the way it went. The $543 had to be a sizable grouping of varied bills, thus a noticeable weight in upwards of an inch high. Also, by its nature, a fast food place doesn't add up their day's cash near a food prep area or within sight of its customers for obvious reasons. It also doesn't make sense that if this deposit was ready to go to the bank, why wasn't it folded over the dollars inside or otherwise closed? Going forwards, I suggest this KFC puts their day's deposits in a cup. Maybe then, when the ice cubes bounce out or the soda overflows on somebody's shoes, they'll take a peek inside to see what's causing such. These are the kind of people that GoFundMe was made for. Hope her good karma comes back to her tenfold. She does not have $2 million in medical bills, beyond exaggeration. Based on what? Do you know the family personally, and why do you choose to focus on that particular detail? Regardless of the woman's personal financial situation, her actions are praiseworthy, and yet you seem to be annoyed by her act of selflessness and honesty. Why is that? Speaking of medical procedures, you might want to consider having a hyphenectomy. Interesting. That was mighty big of KFC to refund the money Oliver paid for her lunch and give her a free meal. Too bad she didn't find a bug in her meal. She'd soon be a millionaire. Interesting. Now, again, there's a few things to really learn from this article. One, it doesn't hurt someone necessarily to be generous, right? To be like a decent human being. So, if you find money and you know that it doesn't belong to you and you return it, okay. Like, there's no, like, necessarily pain done to you. Two, having these types of medical bills is extremely disturbing. That being said, it shows the importance of having one, health insurance in general, two, having very good health insurance where basically it covers you anything in a catastrophic manner, right? Because there are ways to set up your health insurance to where your company, your health insurance company, will have to pay for those bills, right? Regardless. So, something to really think about because no matter who you are, no matter what age you are, you need health insurance. You do not always need life insurance. Life insurance is really only needed if you have someone depending on either your care or your money. So let's say that you are taking care of someone that might be autistic or might be mentally handicapped or might be physically handicapped, right? Okay, it might be a good idea for you to have life insurance because those people require your care, and the only way to replace that if you were to be gone would be to hire someone. So, okay, life insurance would make sense in that case. If you have kids, yes, you should have life insurance. If you are single, no, you do not need life insurance unless, again, someone requires your care, right? So it's just something to really think about. And the thing is, I understand that health insurance is going to be pretty pricey for a lot of people, but it's kind of one of those things that no matter what, you need to find a way to pay for some sort of catastrophic health care, like health insurance, just so that worst comes to worst, if something happens like this, right? If you lose a limb, if you end up getting cancer, if you end up like basically becoming a paraplegic, at least you will not be financially destroyed. Like that is like basically the bare minimum. Like no matter what you're going to be taken care of health wise, but what's the point if you are 100% financially destroyed, right? So just something to think about. Make sure to get health insurance. Make sure to get life insurance if you are like requiring to provide for someone in some way. And make sure that you're also debt free. Because once you're debt free, paying for health insurance, paying for life insurance, paying for all these different bills, paying for like small medical bills as well in cash is so much easier to do. Way more viable to do if you're debt free. Something to really consider. If you want to learn how to get out of debt, go down below.